Hello, everybody, and welcome to Niner FIFA Radio's Championship News Recap Week. I'm your host, Jamie. I'm here with my co host, Jason.
How's it going, everybody?
Hello, everybody. And yeah, so this is our Championship News Recap Week. So, as you guys all know by now, Niners won the divisional matchup against the Cowboys. So, we move on to the NFC Championship game for a chance to play in the Super Bowl going against the Eagles. And so we're going to talk some news, talk some injury updates, and just a few things. And yeah, we're going to have a great show for you guys tonight. Um, before we do all of that, we have some housekeeping, well, not some housekeeping, but if you want to keep up with us and follow us through this week, and if we end up winning for the Super Bowl weeks and all of that fun jazz, follow us at 9FIFA on Twitter, and we're at 9FIFA Radio on Facebook and Instagram. And we're also at 9FIFA Radio on YouTube and Twitch. And hit those notification bells and all of that fun stuff. Turn on all of that so you guys stay up to date and keep up with us. Because if we win this game this upcoming Sunday, we're going to have a very busy week, Super Bowl week. We'll have a little bit of downtime before that with the Pro Bowl week, but the next week we're going to be super busy.
Pro Bowl is going to be. I'm actually looking forward to the Pro Bowl this week because they're not doing the worthless Pro Bowl game. It's actually going to be like skills competition. To be honest, I am way more interested in that than seeing these guys half-ass tackle each other.
For real. It's probably more fun for them too because there's just like it's something different than playing the game. They don't have to really worry about injuries and stuff, and it's just more like competitiveness a little bit.
Yeah, because we can't do like hockey. Like hockey does like 3-on-3 for their All-Star game and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I guess we could do like a 7-on-7 for the NFL, but it just wouldn't be the same kind of a thing. But it's just like let them play flag football. You know, I want to see which one of these guys could actually, bench press 225 the most. Who's the fastest? Have them do a 100-yard dash. That kind of stuff. Have them do the sideline to side. That kind of stuff is way more interesting. Who's got the best arm? I want to see, like I remember they did a skills contest like Peyton Manning's rookie year, and it was the most terrible thing in the world to watch him try to move side to side, duck under things. Because as great as Peyton Manning was, he was not the most mobile man.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so, but I'm way more interested in seeing something like that than I am seeing the Pro Bowl where they half-ass tackle each other. Because I've been to Pro Bowls living in Hawaii. It's terrible.
Yeah, it just doesn't. One, it's because half the guys who are supposed to be there aren't there because they're in the Super Bowl.
Or don't care. They're just like, I don't want
to. And then the guys who are there just don't care. Exactly. They're just like, I've been doing this for 3 weeks now. Like for all these weeks, for 17 weeks now. I want to go home and relax.
The guys that are there are only there because they want to take their families to Hawaii on vacation. That's literally
that's true too. They're like, I don't want to be here. I want to be on the beach, relaxing and hanging out with my family and stuff. So, yeah, it's I know it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, depending on how everything goes this weekend, we will definitely keep you guys posted. I will go through the socials again later at the end of the show. But
I think the only person who ever took the Pro Bowl seriously was Sean Taylor from the Redskins back in the day. Because he was still laying people out. It's like, dude, and everybody's like, dude, it's the Pro Bowl, man. And he's playing, like, because everybody only plays at like 2 miles an hour. Here's Sean Taylor going like 9,000 miles an hour.
He's like, let's go.
Yeah, he thinks he's in the Super Bowl just laying people out. And everybody's like, dude, we don't do that around here. Like, he's fucking T'Challa. We don't do that around
here. Oh, that's funny.
So Pro Bowl's useless.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, it is. It's very weird. But yeah. So we have some stuff to talk about.
This week's
what you drinking?
It's the San Juan Spiked. This is the Rainier Cherry.
Nice.
Not bad.
Nice. I need to get more White Claws. I just haven't gotten White Claws.
This is basically a White Claw.
Yeah.
I don't give a Of course, I still have my shots of Fireball left over from the birthday weekend.
Oh, nice. How was your birthday weekend? Did you have fun at the game?
I didn't go to the game. I played. I had some people over.
Watching the game. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all Cowboys fans, so it was good times. I was talking mad shit the whole time.
Oh my god, that's funny. I have to go and see my coworker who's a Cowboys fan tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes because it's gonna.
Ask him, hey,
talk mad shit like on Sundays. So
Like,
and the
hey, how them boys?
I know I want to so bad, but he's also kind of new, so like I don't know if we're there yet that we can do that yet.
Like, I
So
don't know how bad I can push this button right now.
for real, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty, ready to get into some of this news?
Sure, let's get into,
All
I guess,
right.
the big one of the week.
All right. So as you guys know, I believe it dropped Monday morning was when it actually dropped.
Hi, Kim.
Hey Kim. Monday, I believe Monday morning or Sunday late evening, I
It's
believe.
Monday.
Monday. Um, Charles Amenihue was arrested. It was posted. Saw that Monday. He is still playing. He's still practicing with the team. He has been all week. He obviously he was arrested and then got released, um, and all that stuff on bail. But he's still like going through all the legal proceedings of all that stuff. To be honest, I didn't look at any of the things because I have a lot of PTSD from the River Foster stuff. So I get super stressed out when this stuff happens.
Yeah.
But to be honest, from the little bit that I have been able to discern, there's not enough really information either way regarding all of this information with what happened. Um, so, but as far as the main thing is, as far as it looks, he is one off of the injury report, looks like, almost. And then two, he is on track to play on Sunday, as long as nothing else happens in the next like 48 hours leading up to Sunday, early afternoon. So, what are your thoughts, Jason?
Um, yeah, I think, like I said, we can't really say much. We can just speculate, and that just gets everybody into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know exactly what happened. I hope the best for everybody that's involved in that situation because it sucks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like you said, so far their police report and all that, they're doing their investigations. You can't punish somebody for something that they don't know about. It's the same old saying, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, the only reason why he was arrested, and I'm not an attorney or proficient in that, was that the way I read it was because she was complaining about pain in her arm, and there might have been like a mark on her arm or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He had to be arrested. So even if she said she didn't want to press charges, he had to be arrested according to the state of the law.
Mm-hmm.
So if that, we don't know if that pain in her arm came from her falling, being pushed into something, if he punched her, any of that, we don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
because there was pain and she had to be looked at, he had to be arrested. Now I'm assuming that if he had pain somewhere or vice versa, she would have to be arrested as well. But I don't know. So, but yeah, we'll see. I hope, like I said, I hope the best that this is just, I don't want to say it's going to blow over, but I'm hoping this doesn't end up being another Reuben Foster type situation,
Mm-hmm.
Miller type situation, all that shit that we've had. Yeah, that's pretty much all. And like I said, he seems like he's going to play. I'm sure that evening, the very next early in the morning, he probably had a meeting with Lynch and, probably the entire coaching staff, Jed York, all those guys. They probably asked him like, "Hey, don't lie to us. Tell us what happened." And if he was, I'm going to assume it's something along the lines to where they trust him enough that he's still on this team. Whether or not he's lying, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But this team seems to be, they're pretty open and trustworthy. It's like, look, tell us what's going on, and we could possibly, because they tried working with Reuben Foster.
Yeah.
So, hey, you know what? If you did do something wrong, talk to us. Maybe we can help. We'll see what we can do. But that's all we can really say right now.
Yeah. I think you said it way more articulately than I could. But hopefully it's all for the best. I agree. I hope it doesn't just. I hope that it doesn't blow over and that they figure out what actually happened and that everybody and the whole situation is okay and everybody's safe and all that stuff and that it gets taken care of whenever that happens. And like you said, hopefully it doesn't come out to be like a more like a Reuben Foster situation because I will say that Lynch and Shanahan have been very open about those situations and I feel like, have taken him pretty seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's still here, he's been practicing, I think, looks like pretty much all week since Wednesday.
A little bit of an injury. It was oblique,
Yeah,
I
he has an
believe.
oblique injury that we'll talk about in a little bit. But the fact that he's still hanging around the team and all of that stuff means that either Shanahan and Lynch know something that we don't know, or they're getting the information from all of the legal stuff that we're obviously not going to be privy to until later, a later date possibly. So we'll just have to see what happens. Hopefully everything's okay and gets dealt with fairly and all that jazz, and everybody's safe. So
I could see it coming out next week. Like, say we win, we go to the Super Bowl. They release some sort of a statement. This happened, blah blah blah. I mean, push comes to shove. Worst, case scenario, we have the defensive line to absorb a loss. Now, granted, he's been playing his ass off lately with everything, but you know, we can absorb that loss per se.
it would suck, but like you said, he's in a position group where we're very deep at on our roster. So like, as much as he's been playing well and has been playing very well, honestly, and it would suck to lose him. We have the players to will be okay with rotation. I feel
Yeah.
like for the most part. So
I mean, Drake Jackson was inactive, so I mean that tells you how good that defensive line.
For real. So we'll just have to see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated on that whole situation once we get more. Once we're able to get more information, whenever that is, and all that stuff. But yeah, that's honestly like the big thing of the week. To be honest, we haven't had a situation like that since I believe Ruben Foster was here. If I can remember correctly.
Can't think of anything else serious like that.
Yeah. So, yeah. So next we will move on to um, injuries. So I have the 49ers practice report here that was released. This is through their official Twitter. If you guys are looking for it, just read it off real quick. Jimmy Garoppolo obviously is out this game. I do believe he got an X-ray or some sort of test done this week. And then Kyle said earlier in the week that he would be very surprised if he would be able to have Jimmy this week. So I think we are not getting him as a backup QB for this week or probably the Super Bowl, more than likely.
It's Super Bowl. That's the only. We all knew it wasn't. NFC Championship game was a long shot at best. It had to be the Super Bowl if he comes back.
Yeah. Next up, Christian McCaffrey, running back, his calf. He did not participate Wednesday or Thursday. Full participant on Friday, but Fridays are normally their walkthrough days. They do a quick walkthrough, quick little practice. They don't go full on. He's the one I'm actually kind of worried about because of in the Dallas Cowboy game, his calf was bothering him because he was putting on heating pads on his calf or something on the sidelines.
Stretching them out and everything.
Yeah, he was doing a lot to work with them, and then with Elijah Mitchell also being on the injury report, this is actually honestly a little bit concerning with both of them being on here.
That man is like, it's like every time when he plays really good, something comes up with him. It's just like Elijah Mitchell just cannot stay off the injury reports for whatever reason. It's really
it's a problem. It's not. I don't want to say it's a problem. It's really really unfortunate.
If anything else, it's detrimental to him and his like future money making possibilities. With like, hey, you're always injured. You're always on the injury report. Do we keep you around? Are you going to get that big contract? Coming up, kind of a thing. So, excuse me. That to me, because like I said, when he plays his ass off. He usually plays pretty damn well. So to me, it's going to be more of a situation of what kind of a contract will he be offered in a couple of years, either by the Niners or if he goes in the free agency.
Yeah, no, I agree. It just sucks that both of them are on this report. Hopefully everything goes well and that they're both okay. Elijah Mitchell is questionable. It looks like Christian McCaffrey is clear to play, so it looks like McCaffrey will be playing. So
I think.
expect to see some of the other running backs who are further down the depth chart being sprinkled in a little bit more, possibly. Especially if Elijah Mitchell does not end up playing and is inactive at the start of the game. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Next up is Trent Williams, not interrelated, so he's fine to clear to play. He always has his rest day, and then
He's
he
an
was
old
full
man.
with he's an old man, so he is clear and good to go. He's actually a lot healthier this time around than he was at the last NFC Championship game last year. So hope
Yeah.
that's definitely good. I realized I saw a tweet earlier today that last year at the NFC Championship game we did not have Trent Williams and we did not have or we did have but we had like a very hurt Trent Williams, his ankle.
Very like 70, maybe 60% Trent Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember watching him limping half that game.
Yeah, and then we didn't have Mike McGlinchey that game because he had that injury, right?
Yep.
So this year it's good, especially with the Eagles pass rush that we'll talk about in a little bit. Having both of our tackles off the injury report and healthy is huge. I feel like it's going to be great. Um, Omenihu has an oblique injury. He was limited on Wednesday and Thursday, and he was a full participant on Friday. Like we both said, we're both expecting him to play on Sunday. We'll see what happens with that. But I
I
think
wonder if
he'll
they were
probably.
just keeping him out of practice just because.
It's possible too, with all the stuff going on. It's very possible. Um, Debo was limited with his ankle on Wednesday and Thursday. Full participant on Friday. Um, we'll see how that goes. He will play. We will see how that goes. I don't know. I do remember hearing Debo say that his ankle was bothering him in a presser at one point. Um, I believe so. Hopefully it's good now. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if he's more the decoy this game again, like with the Cowboy game where he got some touches, but he was not the focal point as much.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you on that. I think that with the how beat up Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell are,
Uh-huh.
I think we're going to see a lot more of Debo in the backfield actually taking carries.
Mm, that is possible. I didn't think about that. That is definitely very possible.
Especially depending on how bad Elijah is with his groin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, CMC he'll suck it up. Um,
Yeah,
but with a groin injury, and it's something that Mitchell has been dealing with for quite some time, we'll see how that goes. So I think he's going to get upwards of 5+ carries out of the backfield on Sunday.
yeah, I could definitely see. I was thinking more of in just the passing game, but I could definitely see him. Now that you say that, see him being back and more in the backfield and just taking those those carries and rushing a little bit more. Um,
I wonder how much, like, with the issues with the running backs, are we going to see a little bit of Jordan Mason? Because he's kind of tilted off a little, or fallen back a little bit lately. So I'm curious how it's going to look. If everybody's beat up, or the
mm-hmm.
three main running backs, the two main running backs, and then Debo, could we see a little bit more of Jordan Mason this game?
I would not be surprised, like at all. Um, like him, any of our other running backs that are farther down the depth chart, I could definitely see Kyle being like, okay, we can't continuously push McCaffrey out there. We have to give him some sort of breaks throughout the game. So we need to have, especially if Mitchell is out, like officially out. Um, I could see Jordan Mason or any of our other running backs stepping up as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Ambry Thomas is officially questionable this week. He has been ruled out like the last few weeks. So we'll see how he does. I don't honestly know how serious his ankle injury must have been pretty bad if he's been out for last feels like for like as long as Jimmy's kind of been out. or like not maybe Aslan, but it feels like him and Jimmy are always the ones that are like officially like out
Scratched. Yeah.
scratch.
I wouldn't be
So
surprised if it was going to be Jimmy and Embry that are scratched on Sunday either.
oh yeah,
Minus
for sure.
minus an injury to one of the other cornerbacks, kind of a thing. Jimmy Ward, playing the
Yeah.
nickel. I foresee Embry Thomas being that healthy scratch again.
Hmm. No, for sure, for sure. Especially with Debo is a special case. 'Cause I do feel like he would suck it up as well with the pain as much as he can. Um, I just since Thomas has been out, I feel like his ankle is really bothering him. So I wouldn't be surprised if Shanahan's like, we'll be okay this week. Just we're not going to put you in. Just keep your ankle going and healing and all that stuff.
It's the NFC Championship game. Um, all these guys here are going to suck it up no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, like we were talking about earlier with Trent Williams, who, looking back on it, even Trent Williams was like, I should not have played. He's like, he was injured to the point to where he was at times detrimental to the team. But who's going to tell Trent Williams you're not going to play in the NFC
Yeah.
Championship game? You know what I mean? Like, these guys are going to suck it up for a game of this magnitude. So as long as it doesn't get to a degree like with Trent Williams last year where he really should not have played, I see all these guys playing.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, that's pretty much all of the injuries. Got that taken care of. Honestly, not too big of a list. Um, and honestly, like the running backs are the ones that I'm most worried about, to be honest. Because that run game needs to be going at least a little bit so that we can spread it out a little bit.
And it's week what? So this is 17, 18, 19.
Is this week 20?
24 games if you count preseason that these guys have been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's banged up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is, the test of attrition at this point.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. For sure. Other thing that we're going to note on the news thing is D'Amico Ryans has been announced as what was the
Football writers.
football writers assistant coach of the year, I believe is what it was. He's in the finalist, or was he actually named?
Yeah, he's the winner.
He won. Okay. So he won that, which is great. Good for D'Amico. Also, it is looking very heavily that he is probably going to end up being the head coach of either the Broncos or the Texans. It was leaning towards the Broncos, but now the Texans are kind of coming in with a push, it looks like. Ian Rappaport has tweeted a few times about the Texans coming in and trying to get D'Amico and all of that stuff. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But looks like D'Amico is probably more than likely leaving after the season is over.
It's for sure.
Yeah.
It's for sure.
Yeah. I was hoping against hope. I was crossing my fingers that he would be able to stay, but
yeah, he's definitely going. He deserves. So that's going to be, obviously more draft picks for us. Not to mention that, obviously D'Amico deserves a shot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hey, how's it going, Mimi? Thank you for coming in.
Hello. Welcome.
So, it's like I don't know which franchise I'd want to be a head coach at right now. He does have the connections from the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe he can get T.J. Watt to come, or which is the older brother? I was getting mixed. J.J. Watt. Isn't it J.J. the one that just retired?
J.J. is the one that just retired. Yeah.
Get J.J. Watt. He could be the head coach. J.J. Watt could be his defensive coordinator because they played together there for a few years, and that was a newer franchise. So he does have ties down there in Houston. They've got a ton of draft picks from when they traded Deshaun Watson to the Browns. Mm-hmm. Or do you go and with that team, they're pretty young, and you'd have almost a completely clean slate to start over with that team. Or would you choose the Broncos, who already have a pretty good defense? They've got decent weapons on offense. The question would come down to Russell Wilson. Is he fixable? And do you want to fix Russell Wilson, or do you just say trash it and go, wipe it clean? And they could pull, something like we did with Brock Purdy. Just build the talent around the quarterback, and then you don't need necessarily a great quarterback. You just need someone who is serviceable.
For me personally, if it's my decision, I would probably go towards the Texans just because I like the clean slate aspect and kind of just being able to kind of start fresh and like kind of just build your own team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is more a little bit more appealing just because you don't you it's basically you're building it. It's a lot of the decisions are going to be with um on you and you doing all that work, and it's going to be with your um coaching staff and stuff like that. I'd feel like it's a little bit more appealing because then you don't have a lot of more restrictions and like that's kind of where I would lead. I would just kind of want to start fresh and start from scratch. I feel
Yeah,
like. Though the
Mimi's
Broncos
right.
is tempting. The Broncos is tempting because you don't have to do a lot of that work. You really just got to focus on a few positions like quarterback and just keep bolstering the defense and maybe find one other playmaker for offense. But um, I think I just want to build from scratch. Just I don't know, find that a little bit more interesting.
And Mimi is right. Our defense needs to be the strength because it is definitely or needs to keep being strong because they are the strength of this defense or this team in general.
Yeah.
Um, I would almost lean towards the Broncos only because Russell Wilson, whether or not he can necessarily be redeemed, I give him 1 year.
Mm.
You know, they've got some good draft picks coming in because or no, they don't. I'm sorry, I messed up. I'd give him 1 year in a simplified offense. Maybe even hire someone who used to be who was on the Seahawks staff to come and help coach. Their old offensive coordinator Daryl Blevins. I'm not sure where he's coaching at right now, but
Mm-hmm.
Wilson had some of his best years underneath Blevins. Maybe you convince him to come over onto that staff and try. Like I said, I give him 1 year, and then after that 1 year, I blow it up because
Yeah.
they're not going to have a whole. I mean, they do have because they're now owned by the family that owns Walmart,
Mm.
so they're not going to be. They can absorb the loss of the Russell Wilson, because they still owe him what, like 150
Oh my
million
ridiculous amount.
dollars.
I think his cap hit is stupid.
Yeah,
If they
it's like
cut him.
150 million over like the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they have a rich enough owner to where that they could actually, eat that and be okay. As long as like, hey, this is our plan. We're gonna give Wilson 1 year and that's it. It's a very short leash, and once that if you go off the leash, we're done. Because it was Russell Wilson. He's still young enough to where he has got 3, 4, 5 good years left in him. But that's just
Yeah.
me.
I mean, and it's kind of a tough. It's kind of I think I definitely would like if I was going to side with the Broncos, that would definitely be my idea. Is I'm going to take a very short time with the team that I've taken on and try to make it work
Yeah.
and see how it goes. But I'm also not going like if it doesn't work after a very short amount of time, I'm starting from scratch and I'm starting over and kind of find my own people and
And
just
the Broncos don't have a whole lot of draft capital, especially in the early rounds, because of what
mm-hmm,
they gave up to get
mm-hmm,
him. So you almost have to give it, like I said, you almost have to make it work to an extent.
yeah.
So but it'll be interesting.
It just basically depends on do you want to start over right away or do you want to try with a team that has some power firepower on it and go from there and
Yeah,
then start over later. I feel like
yeah.
it's just kind of that situation. Um, I just kind of look at the Texans as kind of similar to where the 49ers were right before Shanahan took over and just letting them just do their thing and just finding their players. But we'll see. I just like that aspect of just building your own team,
Yeah.
um, and stuff like that. Um, yeah. And I believe that is all the big news. Jason, do you have anything that you want to go over
We
next
can do the
before
review of the Eagles.
preview?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So, as you guys know, the Eagles were the one team that I was kind of worried about this whole since the playoffs started. And here we are for the NFC Championship game. It's going to be a good game, guys. I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't know. Brock Purdy going to the NFC Championship game facing this Eagles defense. And the Eagles, I feel like, are definitely a better team than Dallas.
Yes. Okay. Well, they beat
So
Dallas.
that makes me a little bit nervous, like just in general, because we didn't score that many points on offense last week with against the Cowboys. The Cowboys do have a very, very good defense. I don't know. I was watching a 49ers content creator on YouTube today, right before the show actually, and she had a guy from, I forgot the name of the website. His name is Chase. He covers for a website. He covers both the Eagles and the Niners. So he had a very interesting.
What's the content?
See if I can find. Steph, 49ers Carrots podcast.
I don't know that one.
This one. That's him right there. Shout out to her. She's actually really great.
I've never heard of her. Send me a link.
She's
to that
new.
later.
She just started this season.
Okay.
So she's.
So we need to get her on the show and we talk to her.
Oh yeah, for sure. The guy's name that she had on was Chase Senior of Chat Sports.
Oh, okay. I know the guys at Trap Sports.
Yes. So she talked to him, had him on for about 20-25 minutes, and he was in.
What is up, Damien?
Hey, Damien.
Hey, I know you got the jokes, brother. Give me some Eagles jokes, man.
So they were chatting about that, and one thing to start off before we go too much into it is the right tackle, the Eagles' right tackle,
Lane Johnson.
Yes, should be fine and good to go. He's gonna obviously play through the injury that he has right now, like we said our guys would. So he's gonna.
He has not given up a sack all season. That is freaking.
I know. I think the guy Chase said that he did not give up. He hasn't given up a sack in like 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think it was almost. I saw. Someone else was talking about it on one of the shows. I was like, really? So I looked it up. I was like, damn, that's fucking impressive.
Is that the side that
the best right tackle in Trent Williams, and he has?
Yeah, exactly. That's what's funny is that they have the best right tackle. We have the best left tackle.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Is that the side that Bosa lines up on?
Bosa goes back and forth. I think he's going to line up over Jason Meliotta more often.
Okay.
Just because, and he's also an all-pro tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So both of their tackles are, obviously, I would rank their 2 tackles above our 2 tackles because both of those 2 guys, Johnson and Meliotta, are better than what Williams and McGlinchey is. Combined strength kind of a thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if, because Bosa jumps from side to side all the time.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's for sure. So he mentioned that. I was watching that right now, and it's just going to be, they said that what's funny is what he said, and I know I'm kind of popping off of what he was talking about, but I just watched the video. He was talking about how the 49ers really have to get the ball out quickly to try to avoid the pass rush that they're going to try to get the Eagles are going to try to do, and make sure they spread the ball, because that is going to make it more difficult for the Eagles defense. So if they can do that pretty efficiently, he said they should be in pretty good shape. As long as the defense holds up too. Our defense. So Niners defense. So it's going to be a very interesting game because I feel like both of these teams are pretty well evenly matched. I believe like these are 2 of the best teams in the NFC this year. So it's going to be tough. It could either be a very defensive heavy game, or it could become a shootout. Just depends on how the defense holds up.
Damien's chiming in. Kittle will help McGlinchey a lot with the Eagles. Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, their defensive line for the Eagles they're damn good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, they're obviously I think they're better than the the Cowboys. The Cowboys were a lot faster of a
Mm-hmm.
line. The Cowboys live off speed, kind of like we do to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
They win or die by with the speeds for the Cowboys. The Eagles are a more stronger team. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're better against the run, stuff like that. The Eagles led the league in sacks with 70. 40 of those sacks came from their defensive line. As a reference point, the 49ers had 44 as a team. This
Mm-hmm.
team hits the quarterback, and they hit the quarterback a lot. So it's going to be like you said. We need to get the ball out quick. I can see a lot of screens, bubble passes, stuff like that, to try and slow down this rush that's going to be coming at them. Because
We have to do stuff like that. There's just no, we have to do plays that slow down that rush because, like, as much as I've enjoyed Brock Purdy and as well as he's been playing, we gotta let him have. We gotta keep him as clean as we can keep him.
yeah,
And so I believe that Kyle's gonna realize that and is scheming up plays for that to happen. And we'll see. And I believe Brock Purdy can execute those plays, but that's my biggest worry is just him getting too affected by that pass rush if we don't
yeah,
get
because
the
it's
ball
an
out
intense
quickly.
pass rush. So we'll see what happens. Like Damien said, we might have to keep Kittle in, but at the same time, Kittle getting open a lot has been what's been driving this team.
Oh yeah,
That pass that he caught, that incredible pass where it bounced off his hand, his helmet, back to his
the
hand,
bubble.
back to the bobble, everything with that. Like that pass wasn't supposed to happen. I don't know if
No.
you a lot of people how many people realize with that pass, Kittle was actually supposed to stay in and block and help block on that pass. But he noticed that the linebackers were dropping off really deep. So he just
Mm-hmm.
ran out and found a hole. And
Mm-hmm.
Purdy found him. That was not like I said, he was not supposed to be out on a route that pass excuse me, for that play. Purdy
Mm-hmm.
just happened to recognize that, hey, look, George is wide open across the middle and made the throw. So I mean, we're gonna need a lot of that. Maybe we can, George. Maybe we can run some actual tight end screens to kill. Do the same thing. Run the receivers deep. Have George, act like we're blocking. Then come across underneath with and catch the tight end screen kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe like I said.
Yeah,
God,
because
mobile Jimmy isn't playing. Yeah, Jimmy would get. Yeah, this is not the game where you want a pure pocket non-mobile quarterback, and Jimmy would not be that. The only thing Jimmy would have been really good for in this game would be those quick passes. Say what you want about Jimmy. We can all bitch and moan
he
about
does have a
Jimmy.
quick release.
Jimmy has one of the quickest releases in the NFL. So that would be the one shining grace that he would have for this game.
That's
But yeah,
true.
if where Brock could get away, Jimmy's not.
Yeah, we'll have to. That is a good thing about Purdy is he's not super mobile like Kurtz is, but he does have that twitch and he is pretty quick. Like
Mm-hmm.
he does have a good enough mobility, and he actually has pretty decent pocket awareness
Yeah.
because he can kind of feel when the pocket is collapsing or like he's being pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I'm hoping he's able to still be able to do those to extend plays when he needs to, because that's probably going to end up having to be the case at some points. So, we'll see. Looks like we have a couple comments. Who is the best blocking running back we have?
McCarthy, CMC.
Yeah.
Well, probably Jordan Mason, but I'm not. Well, we're not quite sure how much he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
But CMC's got some pretty good, blocking ability too. But like I said, Mitchell's okay. But I think if you push comes to shove, Mason's probably the best. But right now, he's. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't know if that was what we were talking about in the pre-show or if we were just talking about that before, with how much with those two guys being injured, is Jordan Mason going to get some extra playing time?
I hope so, because when he does play, he does do a pretty good job, and he does get some
Mm-hmm.
solid runs in. And if he is a good running, like I haven't paid too much attention, but if he's a good blocking running back, that could be extremely helpful, especially if we want to get George out there a little bit more and not have George be tied up with blocking. Because you are right. Because with that catch in the Cowboys game with the Kittle catch, the bobble catch, that was like a momentum, almost like a momentum shifter. Because once Kittle caught that pass, the offense was able to start moving down the field a little bit, and then we got
that was the linchpin for everything.
Yeah, and then we got the touchdown, then we got the field goal. So I believe, or might have been back reversed, but
well, Damon, it's been so long since we've seen Tevin Coleman in action. A whole lot. I don't remember how good his pass blocking is. I want to say he's got to be pretty decent at it if he keeps coming back. If Shanahan's willing to keep bringing him back constantly, he's got to be pretty good at it. It's just been so long since I've seen him play a whole lot. I don't remember.
Same. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly my biggest worry is just the Eagles pass rush because of how good they are. And
they're good on all three levels, just like we are. I think we have the better, let's see. I could almost say that the defensive line is probably even when it comes to that. We've got the better linebackers, but I think they've got the better secondary.
Yeah.
So it's, like I said, it's almost a wash when it comes to.
It almost evens out in like a weird way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they have good offensive weapons as well, and then so do we. So it's just kind of the only edge I would give them is Jalen Hurts is still really good and he has that mobility. He's a little bit more mobile than Purdy is. So, yeah, and has a little bit more experience playing in the NFL. So, I don't know. It's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's either going to be a defensive game, kind of like what the Cowboys and Niners game was, or it's going to be a little bit more of a shootout that we were expecting, depending on how the defenses show up and all of that stuff. So,
yeah. Like I said, this is the one game, I think more than any other team, this was a team that worried me just because of how they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you look at some of their wins, they weren't beating up on good teams.
True.
So, but they were like 15-1 with Jalen Hurts. Kind of like with Purdy, Gardner Minshew wasn't bad underneath this team, just like this team wasn't bad how it was run underneath Purdy, underneath Jimmy. But just like with Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, something clicks better on offense in general when those two guys are under center.
Mm-hmm.
To where it's just like, okay, because both of these teams, like right now, the Eagles are ranked number 1 in offense with 416 yards per game. I think it dropped down to like 360 when they had Minshew starting. So there's a huge difference on that. By the way, the Niners at second at 408. So it's not like they are far behind or that far ahead.
It's going to be, because I know in the media it's been very much like everybody's been pumping up the Eagles a lot. I've noticed a little bit. And they've been a big talk, and with us going to Philly. But if you look at it on paper, the teams are pretty even. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be a lot closer of a game than people might be anticipating. So I think it's going to be a good game. I still think the Niners make it work. I really do. Just with how this team has been playing and has been how they came back in the second half and just took control against the Cowboys and just held on to that lead. And with how well our defense has been playing, I just feel like we're going to end up winning. So,
well, not the over-under, but the Eagles are only favored by 2.5 points. And you get an automatic 3 for playing at home. So they're not even favored by a field goal.
Mm.
So that's how even, at least Vegas is calling this right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be a very interesting game. And also, if you guys do not know, I'm sure you guys do. It is at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
First game
Just
of the day.
first game of the day, a little bit of an earlier game. So just remember that. So you guys know. Do you have anything you want to go over, Jason, with betting or
We can talk
anything?
about like the NFL awards ceremony. So we've got Kyle is up for Coach of the Year.
Yep.
They put up 5 people, but pretty much everybody's reported Kyle is in the final 3
Okay.
for that. Then we also have CMC for Comeback Player of the Year. He's up against Geno Smith and Saquon Barkley, I believe it is. I think.
Yeah, Saquon was on there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be Geno. I don't think. And
Yeah.
the reason why I think it's going to be Geno, 1, he plays quarterback, and 2, Christian CMC is going to lose point or lose. He's going to lose votes because of the team that he came to.
Yeah.
And Juice does predict the damn quarterback pretty
He
well.
does do a good job. Juice is very underrated.
So because they're like, oh, well, he's good because of the team that he went to is already stacked. Okay. Whereas the Seahawks are supposed to be trash. They weren't supposed to do anything but win maybe 4 games this year, and they went to the playoffs. And Geno Smith broke pretty much all of Russell Wilson's passing records this year. And so I could easily see, or I don't foresee CMC winning that award.
Yeah.
The Kyle one, I think it's between him and Sirianni, the Eagles coach, and I think whoever wins this game wins that award.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one where there's Bosa, or excuse me, there's 2 more. There's Bosa's up for Defensive Player of the Year.
He seems like he's pretty much a lock in to win
That's
it.
the one to where I have my pitchforks ready because a lot of people are pushing for Micah Parsons to be the winner of that. If there was one I am willing to say 100% should be won by a 49er, it has to be the Defensive Player of the Year. There's no reason.
Yeah.
He has better stats across the board than Micah Parsons in 1.5 games less.
The only thing that worries about me about that is that he hasn't shown up too much on the stat sheet in the playoffs. So that makes me a little bit concerned if that's going to affect him getting that award. But he should win that award. He had a crazy season this year, and he should. And I get it, but I also am just like, I hope he wins, and I don't know what Niner fans are going to do if he doesn't, because it should be him.
Oh, we're burning something down.
I know.
And then the one that is probably going to be one of the more controversial ones is the Offensive Player of the Year. We don't have a dog in the race for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's probably going to be Sauce Gardner that wins that. But in the Offensive Rookie of the Year, we've got Kenneth Walker from the Seahawks, Garrett Wilson from the Jets, and then Brock Purdy. I almost don't think it's going to be Garrett Wilson because I don't think they want to give the Defensive Rookie and the Offensive Rookie of the Year to both Jets. So you kind of lean towards giving it to Kenneth Walker, who did have a pretty damn good year for the Seahawks. I think he had like 800 some odd yards rushing and over 1,000 yards total. Good, good for him, especially behind a makeshift offensive line that had 2 rookies starting at tackles. Personally, say what you want, I give it to Garrett Wilson. The guy got over 1,000 yards with Joe Flacco, Mike White, and Zach Wilson throwing the ball. That to me is pretty damn impressive. Granted, he only had 4 touchdowns, but still, the fact that you got over 1,000 yards with that trio of quarterbacks throwing you, imagine him on a team that had Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, Geno Wilson. You know what I mean? It's just like give him anybody but those 3 guys, and he's probably pushing for 1,510 touchdowns. And then there's Brock Purdy. And the knock on him is obviously going to be he didn't play enough games. He's surrounded by talent. So with those 2 things in mind, I don't see it going. I think it'll be a major upset only because of those 2 things. And I've seen a lot of people who are going to be pissed off if he wins it. But at the same time, you can make a solid argument for Proc because this team is averaging about 11 more points per game since he took over. We're all, we've won 13 or 12 in a row at this point. So I mean, everything with this offense has clicked more with him since he's been the starter. But
Yeah.
to me personally, I think it goes to Wilson just because of that. But let's go Brock Purdy. I wouldn't mind seeing everybody pissed off at it.
It would. I'm just surprised he was like put in the. I know he's been doing really well, but just because of how many limited games he started, I was surprised he was even like up for the award in general.
Yeah, surprised. And I would have thought they would have put. I think it's Michael Olave from the Saints in before him.
Yeah,
the wide receiver, their rookie wide receiver, but. Maybe they're putting Brock Purdy in there just to piss people off. Like, hey, look, this guy's actually good. Look what he's done in only a few games. I don't know exactly how that works, but a lot of people up here in Seattle are even pissed off. Like, why is he even in it? Well, he's kind of been pretty damn good, and he beat you guys twice. So shut up.
it's just I cannot speak. He has been doing really well, even in the box scores and all of that stuff, and in the statistics, he's been doing crazy numbers. The team has been, like you said, averaging more points per game with him in it. He's the first quarterback since Cap who's thrown for like multiple touchdowns in a playoff game. It's just been crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I won't be upset if he wins. I will understand if people are upset if he does win. But we'll see what ends up happening. I just hope Nick Bosa wins Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, that's the one I look. This needs to happen.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Yeah. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's everything. Oh, and the over under is 46.
46. I take the under. I don't think they'll get. That's. I don't know.
Well, my prediction is 24-20, so I'm right underneath it.
24-20. Yeah, I was gonna go like 21-24, something like right around there too. Like, I think it'll be win by field goal. So yeah, I think I agree with you.
I think it's gonna be under a touchdown. I think it's gonna be closer to 3 than 7.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, guys, this has been our championship news recap week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you guys for tuning in and for all the comments. Appreciate it, guys, so much. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you want to keep up with us with this weekend, and especially if we do end up winning this game, keeping up with the Super Bowl news and all of that fun stuff, if we end up going past this game, definitely follow us on all of our socials. We're at Twitter at NinerFearfulR. We're on Facebook at Niner FIFA Radio, and we're also on YouTube and Twitch at Niner FIFA Radio. So turn those post notifications on, turn all that stuff on. Make sure you're following us so you can keep up with us, especially if we do get past this game, because I have a feeling it's going to be busy. So, and there'll be stuff going on.
It'll be a fun 2 weeks leading up to that game, to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, it will be, for sure.
Because I wasn't covering anything when the last time we went.
I don't think I was either. Might have just been doing like, maybe I was. I can't remember. It's been so long. Been a minute. But yeah. But the one thing is, if we do end up going, we have to get the audio of Kittle being like, I will be back here when he said that at the end. Yeah, we need to get that audio. TJ, if you're listening, we need to get that audio, okay? I know it's going to be overplayed by every freaking podcast, but we need to get that audio.
It's the perfect, audio for that.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, guys. So enjoy the game on Sunday. Have fun. And go Niners, as always.
I'll see you guys at halftime. Jaymie will be here before or after, and TJ before.
Yep, I will be here for the post-game show for it. Whether we win or lose, I will be here. So, all right, guys. Have a great night. Enjoy the weekend. Have a wonderful day on Sunday, and we'll see you guys later.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, Niner Gang. Bye, guys.